So scratch.mit.edu, top right hand corner you can sign in. If you're already signed in that little drop menu, so that's the website there, highlighted. And top right hand corner you might already be signed in, and your things will be in your My Stuff folder. So you can see in mine there, I've got yesterday's animation of my surname, and I can just click the See Inside button and it will load. So you can see there I've got all my sprites, and there's my code for my W, my O, my second O, which was how to put a sound in, the D, I need to build the code in here. So this D, I'm putting in some events, so I'm saying it needs to start doing something when the flag is clicked. And I want it to move so to that start position of X and Y, and it should match the coordinates down underneath my preview. Now the next thing I want it to do, I want my D to move to that position. Now as I move the D, the coordinates change under the preview. So then when I go to glide this time, I'm using glide, not go to, so glide in 1 second to the positions listed underneath the preview. So I'm going to go to glide in 1 second to X and Y again and put him in, and it's got the new coordinates because I moved it. So when I move it again, the coordinates underneath change, and so do these ones. So glide, I want him to go to that position. I'm going to move it again, so that's the next spot, and these numbers updated, and I'll slide it over. Now I want to see what that looks like soon. And the last one, I want it to go back to the exact spot where it started from, so it should match my initial X and Y coordinates. So 91 and 4. So I can manually type those in. So that one there is getting changed to 91. And the next one's getting changed to 4 to match. Now as I hit the green flag, it'll run through that. So he's moving. And you'll see it looks like it's moving faster in some positions. It's because the distance is different. So I can now go through each block and tell it to go faster or slower by the amount of seconds it takes to get from one point to the next. So that first one, it takes 1 second to get to that spot. If I change that to 2, it'll go slower. It'll take twice as long to get there. If I want something to go faster, you lower the number. It gets there quicker. So you would have seen, see it goes nice and slow. And now I go, I want to make it faster, so I might change those 2's to a much lower number. 0.5 of a second. So it should be 4 times faster than what it just was in those positions. So it went there much quicker. Okay? Now if I want to make that just keep doing that, I need to put it in some sort of loop. And I might want to make it change colors. So I've clicked on costume up the top, and then I've right clicked and duplicated, and I've got 2 costumes that could switch between now. So this works like paint. Pick the tool, I can go in and pick a color, gives me a little preview up the top, and I might make that background that aqua color. So paint bucket, and click on the part you want to paint. It gives you a preview, and then click. And you'll see now I've got my first costume's just the black and orange, and my second costume's got the green in it as well, the blue. Now I've started a new lot of code, so I've just dragged in a when flag is clicked, forever. And I'm talking about how something looks, so it should be in looks. And there's one here that says switch costume, or there's another one there that says next costume. So I'm going to drag that one in, and I'm going to tell it go to the next costume and just wait a second each time. and that tells it to show the costume for 1 second and then change it to the next. If you forget to put the weight in, it'll look like nothing's happening. So I'm saying change that costume every 0.3 of a second. Okay, so it's moving and flashing at the same time. Okay, I'm going to show you how to put that into a loop. So just drag the forever in, it gives you a preview. So that just keeps going now. And I'll show you how to make a sprite pop up with a speech bubble to say something next. I'm going to put that on my S. So I'll pick my S from down in the list of sprites. I'm just positioning it first. There we go. And I'll build some quick code here. So it should be forever when the flag is clicked. Sorry, when the flag is clicked. In control. No, in events. In events, there you go. Tell it to go to that position to start with. So go to X and Y and the coordinates will match. And I'm saying wait 5 seconds, and then I want it to say something which sounds like a sound, so it's in there. Or it might be your looks because it's something visual that pops up. Yeah, there it is. So it says say hello for 2 seconds. Drag that in. And you can type in there what you want it to say. So I'm just saying made by Miss Woods. You could put made by and put your name in there. And for how long do you want that to pop up on the screen? So 5 seconds. So I'll test it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it should pop up. There it is, made by Miss Woods. So that's something else you can put in there. So you've had a look at how to make things jump to spots, change costumes, spin. We've looked at gliding. We've looked at popping speech bubbles up. And this is showing you how to put sounds in. So it was a tab up the top, and you can pick from a preset list by picking that button, or there's 1, 2 up where you can record your own sounds. So you can also do that as well. But it needs permission to use your mic. And then you can hit that big record button, talk, and it will pick up your voice. Okay, you'd stop your recording. You can play it back. You can hit save and it puts it in your lists of sounds. Okay, when you're happy with it, hit save, and there it is. So you've got meow, you've got recording, and then when you go back to your code and you drop in a bit of code for sound, in that list, that drop down, there's your list of recordings. Okay, so that's stuff you can play around with as well. Okay, I didn't want it there. I'll just put that one back on. Everything's working. Okay, I'm just going to stop it. Just hit File, Save. That's saving into your My Stuff folder. And we're going to create a new game. So you go up to File in the top left. And New. Okay, it's going to create you a new blank game. So in here, bottom right hand corner, you've got backgrounds and you can go there and draw your own background. So I just selected the square shape and I draw a square. And it puts it in the window at the same time. And I can see some lines around the outside, so I'm just going to click and drag and make these bigger. And as I click and drag these, you can see a white frame pop up. That matches the size of the screen. So I'm just making sure mine goes beyond that so that I don't get any white background in my actual game. Can then use a line tool. That's your color for your line, and that number there, the 4, is the thickness of your line. So you can change that as well. Then you just start clicking and dragging to draw your lines. Hopefully we're paying attention. So I'm just drawing my maze up nice and quick. It's just a practice. So we're going to draw this up, then it's going to show you how to import a sprite to be a character and how to control that with your up, down, left, right buttons, and then how to make it collide with lines to go back to the start. Okay, so now I need a sprite. Choose sprite. And I want to pick one that looks like a character that I want. So you can scroll through, and as you hover on them, if they move, they've got multiple costumes in there. So I like the look of this crab, so I'm going to pick that as my character. Now he's too big to fit through the sections of my maze, that's fine. I can make him smaller in that little size box. So that's down to 90% of the original size, 50%. Pretty close, but still too big for some sections. So I'm just going to make him down to like 30% of the original size, so that looks good for this maze. Okay, so he fits there, a little bit challenging, but that's fine. So now we start to build the code. So when the flag is clicked, will be the first thing I want to put in there. And where he has to start from. So I've got my start position, I go down to control, and I need a forever loop. So I want all these rules in here to apply all the time. So then I've got an if-then statement. I'm going to put 4 of these in there for up, down, left and right. Just saves time doing it all at once. So I want if, and then I need to look for a block that will fit in that shape. So it's got to have those 2 diamond edges on it. So if touch in sounds like a sense. So in sense in, touching mouse pointer, no, not those. Key press, that looks right. Yep, and I've got some up down options. So if space, I'll change it to up, pressed, then if the up is pressed, I want to change my Y coordinate. So I go change Y by 10. And if I run this and I press the up button on my keyboard, he's jumping up a fair bit at once. So I want more control, so I'm going to lower the number. He's not jumping as far, it'd be easy to control in and around the maze. So I'm changing that down to 2. Bit slow, small steps, but it's not too bad. Okay? We need to replicate that for down, right and left. Looks like I've set it on change Y by 3. That looks good. That's fine. So now I'm going to jump back into sensing. I'm going to put the key pressed blocks in the next 3. It's quicker this way. And now I'll change them to down. And the next one to right, and the next one to left. And then I need to put my change Y in for the next one. This time if you're changing Y in a down direction, it's a negative, so I'll just make it -3. Okay, left and right is the X coordinate, so to go right is a positive, so I'll make that just 3. And to go to the left, you want it to be a negative number, so we'll make that -3. Okay, and we'll test that out. Up, right, left, down. All works fine. Now we want to set some code for if it hits the wall, it goes back to the start. So I'm putting in a new bit of code here when the flag is clicked. I'm going to say forever if touching a color this time, the second one. Now when you click in the color option here where it's green, down the bottom there's a color picker and you can hover over your line. Now once that outside ring turns black, click and it catches that exact color. So when touching black, then move to X and Y, and you want it to be the same as your original start point, so just check those two sets of numbers match. Let's run the code and see if it works. Yep, he bounced back. Go up here, hit a wall, and he goes back to the start. So that's enough for this. By the end of this lesson, I'm expecting your name animation finished, that you can create your own background as a maze, and that you can get a sprite moving up, down, left, right, and hitting a wall and returning to the one spot.